Marquetry is the art of decorating initially furniture with different veneers, like choosing different grain and different colors, put them together, and then create a pattern like flowers.
I'm Robin Johnson. This is Yours for the Making, and I'm joined by Audrey Fasquelle.
Was after 3 years, I was like, I think I'm more patient now. So I might as well just do marquetry because I was already in the school anyway. So trained for a year, I was like, I actually love it.
Really?
Even if you try to make two marquetries, they would never be the same.
This show tells the story of the makers, the people that create things, whether it's in wood or metal, whether they're artists or musicians or chefs. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell their story.
It's normal to not succeed straight away. And I think now I start my school, like my courses, saying you will break things. Don't worry about it. It's part of the process. Don't expect to have everything perfect straight away.
I'm Robin Johnson. This is Yours for the Making, and I'm joined by Audrey Fasquelle,
Hey.
marquetry expert and marquetry teacher at Farnham School, Robinson House Studio.
Silver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Silver Foundation.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
And Westin College.
You do a lot of driving then.
Yeah. It's
Excellent.
fun, when it's just to talk and show what you can do. I think it's cool.
So for the average person that might not know what marquetry is, in a nutshell, can you explain what marquetry is?
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
Yeah, you said really briefly. Marquetry is the art of decorating initially furniture with different veneers, like choosing different grain and different colors, put them together, and then create a pattern like flowers or this is what was made in the first place. A lot of flowers and everything. And now it can be used in different cars or surfboard, snowboard, probably.
I know there's one called Wood Pop. Is it Wood Pop? I've seen someone that's doing marquetry surfboards.
Yeah.
They look really cool, actually.
I can't remember her name, but yeah, Wood Pop, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's basically taking that old craft and just applying wherever we can, as long as you can press it.
As long as you can press it and you can cut it.
Yes, but because you cut before, it's fine. You can just match things and just hoping that everything's going to be all right. But the most important is as long as you can fit in the bag for pressing, you're fine. It's easy. Marquetry is so easy.
Do you often use a bag for pressing? Like a vacuum bag?
Yeah. You can, depending if you have curved shaped. Yeah, it depends what you're doing. You don't even need a back press. You can use contact glues. Yeah. For example. So that's why I'm saying you can literally apply it anywhere you want.
It's I think it's one of those skills that is phenomenally intensive on time. It's a very labour intensive, for me anyway. When I've tried to do little bits, I find it really slow. Probably because I'm useless at it, but when I've tried to do bits of marquetry, I find it a very labour intensive process, and you have to be really quite careful. I'm not the most careful person, and I find fine scalpel work on wood that's not much thicker than thin card. I find it really difficult when I've had to do repairs on antiques with very detailed marquetry and maybe a recurring pattern or something. I'm because it's not just, you haven't just got the intricacy of the cut, but you've also got to then work around the grain because, anyone that works with wood, especially wood that's thin, knows that if you cut it the wrong way and you lift that up and you've cut in the wrong direction or you've not gone with the bias of the grain, the chances are it's going to snap along the grain, right? Or across the grain even.
It's true, but at the same time, I feel like what is good with veneers, because it's thin, that means, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but you can super glue it.
Oh, back together again. Yeah, of course.
Oopsie. But yeah, I think it's a really long process, although it's like every other trades. The more you do, the quicker you get. So things that even 5 years ago I didn't think I would be able to do in one day, now I'm just like, yeah, fine, and I'm not scared of it anymore. Or it's before it was like, right, I've got all these things to do, it's going to take me a week, even more, like panicking about it. And now it's more like, yeah, it's going to be 2 days, it's fine. And I think this is also what you learn is it's going to break. This is why I say when I'm teaching, when I see people be like, oh no, it snapped. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the end. No, it's not. That's good. I still break pieces of veneers. It's just more how you fix it or how you challenge yourself when you do the drawing, being like, okay, that's going to be really tiny. I might just choose another type of veneer or the grain direction. So basically you you do what seems to be a lot more work by preparing more, but in the end, you don't have to redo everything. That makes sense. So in the organization, you get used to it. And then when you look at some veneers, that's going to snap. I'm not going to use that. Or if I use it, I will protect it and I will cut it in a certain way. And just being prepared and think, it's not dramatic if it breaks. I think we have that kind of image of marquetry that is really precise and neat and everything goes perfectly and you have to be really skillful. I mean, you have to be, but it's like all the same. If you train, if you do a lot, you can see things before it happens. So you can mitigate it.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same with us. If we're trying to machine a straight bit of timber and there's a huge, great big knot in the middle of it, we know that's not the piece of timber that we're going to use for that component. Yeah. We'll cut around it and use something that we can use. Although we were just looking at the table that I was making down there and it's just littered with like pip all the way through it, which normally in a normal piece of joinery you'd avoid like the play because it's going to move all over the place. Yeah. But just the character of it just says something. And I think sometimes you've got to, I don't know, I find I've got to lean into those kind of imperfections and try and make the most of it.
And also you prepared for it.
Oh yeah, I know it's going to move all over.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Like that's why when I say you organize your work in a different way, that means it's not like you had a knot hidden in the middle of your piece of wood. You can see it. You know that it's going to be complicated. So you know what to expect. You know that it might bend a certain way, warp or anything. So you will prepare yourself to work through that and not just treat it as a normal piece of wood. So just preparation, organization.
What was your first experience of marquetry and what drew you to it? Because it's a fairly interesting and fairly unique kind of career path to take.
Really niche.
Very niche.
Okay, so I'm going to try to make that version really short, but I think it's a funny one. So I was doing my A-levels back in France. I was 17. Let's be honest, I wasn't that good. I was okay, average. And I've always done things by hand at home. My parents always taught me like, oh, do that. This is how you make stuff. And when you're 17 in France, you can have a qualification to look after kids during summer holiday. And part of the qualification is to learn some new activities that you can do with the kids. And so you do them during your training. And one of them was making this kind of puppet. Is it how you call it? Puppet. But in wood that you move. And so I had to cut around it.
Automaton.
Something like that. A really small one. But I remember making it. I actually still have a scar there from when I did it. I just remember coming home and be like, oh, Mom, this is what I did today. I really enjoyed it. That was cool. And probably she could see like what to do with her. Let's talk to her about that cabinet making in that school 1 hour away. So basically that my mom told me about cabinet making. I didn't know what it was at the time. And we went to see the open day. Went there and I was just blown away by all the things I could see, like small classes, a lot of creativity, tutors supporting the students, because I assume it's the same in the UK. Like when you have classes that are overloaded, it's really hard to give time for each student and help them. So I did that, then did a day of practice, just to a taster, I think. And I've been told that I was doing well and that maybe I should do that, like woodwork. So did my A-level, finished it, went to cabinet making for a year. It's not my favorite thing, probably
Really?
because I'm not precise enough.
You're not precise enough.
I know. Well, at the time,
Right.
hang on. At the time, it was quite complicated. When you always want to have everything done straight away. And I remember I had to do on that cabinet kind of a parquetry pattern. Hated it. And I remember saying, I will never, ever do marquetry in my life. Never. And then I carried on my studies, did a bit of wood turning. I was like, oh, might do a bit of wood carving too. And that pattern is like wood turning. You have to be slower, but you still have a result quite quickly. Wood carving is in between. So you have to work more to have a result. And then at the end, I think it was after 3 years, I was like, I think I'm more patient now. So I might as well just do marquetry because I was already in the school anyway. So trained for a year. I was like, I actually love it.
Really?
Yeah. Which is funny because I literally said, no, never. And I ended up training 3 years in marquetry. 3 full years. I think what I liked was first, it was reminding me of sewing, like you have a pedal and depending on how much you push on it or not, it goes faster.
And the stitcher.
Yeah. I don't know how you call it, but my mum taught me how to do that when I was a kid. So probably that's why it felt kind of something I knew and that I could do. And I don't know, just from something I was like, to I love marquetry and to teach it now.
Like you've come full circle.
Yeah.
So you said parquetry. What is the difference between marquetry and parquetry?
One is boring, one is not.
Explain.
No, I'm joking. Parquetry is mainly geometrical patterns. So you have the cubes, or you would have the diamond points.
So repeating patterns.
Yes,
right.
And then you just mainly use a ruler to create it. Marquetry would be more the depiction of a landscape or still, how do you say, still life?
Still life, yeah.
So more intricate. And I think parquetry would be easier to repeat, whilst the marquetry would be always different. So,
but how would you describe yourself as someone that does marquetry? You can do both parquetry and marquetry.
Yeah, but I don't like boring things.
No. Fair enough.
No, I'm joking. That's been sorry for people who do parquetry.
I mean, I find that because my level of skill is quite low in that, I find even just doing parquetry quite exciting because it's a bit different to what I'm doing every day.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know, or maybe it's because I'm terrible at making straight line. It's just easier for me to have them like wiggly on purpose. And I'm just like, if I fail, at least it won't be that visible. I don't know. Or maybe it's because the first pattern I've made on that cabinet was parquetry and I hated it. Well, I don't know.
Maybe it put you off.
Yeah.
So after you've done your time at the wood school, you've done 3 years doing marquetry.
Yeah.
Not parquetry. What was next?
Next, that was complicated. Let's be honest. I worked in a company that was making cabinet for private jets. Not my favorite time there for diverse reasons. And then tried to set up my own business with marquetry on snowboards and skis.
Oh, brilliant.
Because I worked with a ski maker back in France. So I tried to do that. But I think that's one of the problem in this kind of trade is like you have to make sure you can find a job. If you want to create your own workshop, you still need to have money, but to make money, you also need, I mean, it's, sorry, quite a full circle that it's hard to, if you don't have any money, it's hard to settle your business. But if you don't settle business, you don't have money. So I tried really hard and it didn't work out. And then did that for a few years. And this is when I was like, I had enough of being in France. I was like, maybe I should go somewhere else. Started looking in the UK. Don't ask me why. Was just attracted by it. And at the same time as I was looking, my former tutor literally sent an email saying there is a company that is looking for a marquetarian and about Silverlining.
A marquetarian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, marketer.
Marketer,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, basically it was kind of like, you know, when things aligned perfectly. Like I was looking at finding another job outside of France and receiving that email. And I was literally planning my first trip to the UK with my ex-partner to visit Scotland. So it was kind of like, wow, there's something there. But yeah, spent 3.5 years there doing a lot of marquetry, meeting a lot of amazing, like creative people. And almost 4 years ago, I met my now colleagues from the company I work with.
The luxury car company in Chichester that we shouldn't name. But you're there now full time doing as a marketeer.
Yeah, marquetarian.
Which must be fun because I'd imagine what you're doing there is everything's unique. That's the sort of brand that it is, isn't it? So everything will be unique and bespoke to that one project.
I think overall marquetry in itself is just such a specific, like even if you try to make 2 marquetries, they would never be the same because the grain of you're trying to find all the defects in the wood that usually cabinet makers and joiner don't want to have. So that makes it already unique in itself. It's, yeah, we can have crazy projects. I can talk about it.
But I've been to the factory and seen some of the stuff that comes out of there, and it's like you spoke about being at Silverlining and having loads of creative people, and the stuff that Silverlining do is incredible. You know, it's in super yachts and beautiful pieces of furniture, and that's what I would love to be operating on that kind of level one day, and I really aspire to do the same sort of work that they do. When I went to where you work and had a look around the factory, I was like, my God, I had no idea of just the level of skill that goes into all the touches there. I mean, yes, you're assembling a car along a factory line, but you've got a whole floor of leather and people working with fabrics and stitching and really complicated details and stitching and leathers. You've got some, you know, a full-time marketeer.
Yes.
And you think about the amazing woodwork that goes into some of these cars, you know, but you wouldn't necessarily assume that until you've sat in one or been to the factory and seen it being made. Like a lot of incredibly skilled creative people working there to create these masterpieces.
Yeah, and overall really passionate about what they do. People that want to thrive in their field. Yeah, I think you have to, because it's luxury. So I think if you're not interested, if you're not passionate about your craft, that would be visible in what you make.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it's important if you're in luxury. People would expect that. Sometimes it even become your worst, like we're already our own worst critics, sorry. But it's even worse when you're in the luxury, because you can see all the tiny defects and just assume that everyone else will see them.
Yeah.
It's actually no, most of the time. But this is also what pushes you to thrive and just thrive, one of the two, to make things better. And I'm always learning. So I was a fully trained marquetarian before coming at Silverlining. I didn't know how to use a laser. So I learned there, and I'm still learning now. I think I will never finish learning, basically. It could be techniques, it could be different materials, it can be sustainability about my craft that I will learn about, because when I trained, it was 15 years ago, and in between, everything has changed.
You've also become a teacher
Yes.
of other marquetarians.
Yes.
Where did that start? Which school did you start teaching at
It was
first?
Westin,
Westin
because
College.
it's next door. So I started teaching.
What a fantastic establishment, I must say. I mean,
It's lovely.
I was talking earlier about what, sorry to interrupt as well, but what I'd like to do here is build a huge workshop and then turn that workshop into a school. But actually, it's only because we haven't got anything here that does anything like that. But then if you go over that way, you've got, Westdean, incredible school, really nice tutors, great tutors, brilliant stuff coming out of there, and a whole range of traditional craft courses, not just furniture making, but a whole plethora of stuff.
Books. And
It's like brilliant place. But yeah, it's really impressive. So sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it's fine. I think indeed it's like, I feel I'm lucky that I've been able to meet people there, and I'm able to teach there. So I've met Dan, which is the furniture tutor leader. I don't know how, the main one. And yeah, we started chatting and we got along really well. And it was like, oh, well, would you mind teaching the student from second year of cabinet making furniture? It's like, yeah, why not? A bit like scary, second language, high reputation. It was a bit scary for me. And I did it. I only had 3 students, I think, 3. I think the emotions were a bit like split between all the characters because I was trying to figure out how to teach. I taught some things before, but not like at that level. And people were expecting so much from me. I was like, but then I think one gave up. It was really angry. One was really peaceful and everything was perfect. A bit stressed, but like, fine. And one was in between. He said it was 2 days, and he said, like, I think I was hating you the first day, but now we're doing the second day. I don't hate you anymore. And I was like, great. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, quite nerve-wracking not to know. And then you question yourself. I was like, oh, that person who didn't like it, is it something I've done wrong or not? And I was trying to figure out, discuss with the students, discuss with Dan. And I think it's just marquetry is not for everyone because, like you said earlier, it's so precise. If you don't want, if you're not ready to put that time and that patience, like, it won't work. And now I understand that I've been teaching a lot more, but I will always kind of have one student that won't have the patience to do it. Not that they're bad or anything. It's just they're not used to it. And if they don't want to push, I don't think there is any point of me pushing, because that will make them frustrated, I think. And then worse.
Yeah, it's a tricky. I used to be a school teacher.
Yeah.
Before I started my business, and I found maybe if I had 20 children in that class, or 20 young adults, college age kids, that of the 20, especially later on, if they're doing A-levels, they've chosen to do that subject. So you'd think that they'd want to be there. And of that 20, 15 of them would be quite engaged in what you were doing. 5 of them probably would be, maybe 4 of them would be kind of borderline, and 1, if they were in the class, you were lucky. And if they were in the class, then they were just switched off, maybe a little bit disruptive. You think that's a shame because you've chosen to be here. But then, yeah, maybe on reflection, maybe I wasn't a good enough teacher. I wasn't engaged them in the right way. Maybe, who knows? But I think it just comes down to patience and stuff like that as well. With what I was teaching, DT at an A-level, there's loads of coursework, which meant loads of writing and people I make a generalization, but people like us that like doing creative things maybe don't necessarily like writing pages and pages about
No.
how we are creative and how we've come up with ideas and how we've done all these tests and document everything. For me personally, I just like getting on with it. I sometimes don't even like drawing the thing that I'm going to make. I just want to go at it and make it. Like we were saying earlier about table, that wood dictated how that table was going to look. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a line that way and do this and do that. I was cutting the wood and thinking, wow, that part looks really good, so I'm going to use it like that.
You adapt,
and that is, for me, the most exciting thing about doing what I do. I actually find it takes a little bit of that joy away sometimes if I've got to sketch it and put it on CAD and stuff like that. But I know for everyday items which are not coming back to live at my house, I have to do that because I need to show people what they're going to get. And there's that level of expectation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working to their design, so I've got to match their designs. But going back to the teaching thing, it's really difficult because I completely understand where all those kids are coming from. They just want to get in a workshop and make something. But I'm telling them, you've got to research the famous designers. You've got to write this up. You've got to then draw 10 things, pick one, make that one developed. And yes, boring.
Yeah. I think also, like you said, most of the people want to do it, but also I don't know, I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid. I just realized that my marks weren't following, like sometimes you want to do something or you will be able to overcome your difficulties in learning because we all have a different type of learning. So I know I need to make things. If it's just theory, I'm just like, I switched off. And I assume it's the same. So you're trying to adapt to the students. Sometimes you will try, even if they really want it, they really want to know how to do it. As sad as it sounds, sometimes we're not made for it. But it's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but maybe your expectation won't be as high as other people. If you like to cut stuff and make marquetry, even if you don't mind if it's gappy, just carry on. But sometimes when you teach, you're just like, I literally don't know how I can make that person more interested in it. Or sometimes they have expectation and they just realize this is not what I wanted to do. Well, sorry. I don't know. So I think it's just a lot of adaptation.
So how long did you teach at West Dean before you started teaching at other places?
Probably did 2 or 3 courses. And how did all the rest happen? It was really strange. I think one day I received an email at work because I'm on the West Dean website.
Right.
Received an email from someone from the Southern Fellowship of Woodworkers in Guildford at work, which was really weird. I was like, is that a scam?
To your work email?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, how come that happened? And they basically looked online, tried to find me, and just sent an email to the reception that they forwarded to me. And it was just, they wanted me to come and give a talk about marquetry in front of all their members. Okay, so worked really hard to make a presentation. Not that I've never done it, but obviously it's my second language, so sometimes it can be complicated. Asked support from my friends, being like, would you mind reading it to make sure that it's correct English? And also, sometimes you will have the same when you've been doing your job for so long, there are things that you forget because it's so obvious for you that you don't talk about it. So did all these things, and these people were in contact with Aidan from Farnham. And so through kind of the talk and all that, I just ended up having an email from Aidan asking if I wanted to teach. I replied to his mail. I didn't receive anything for a month, I think. Yeah. It's fine, because actually this is when we link with Jared. So he was one of the winner of the 6460 award from the furniture making company.
Worshipful Company of Furniture Makers.
It's really hard to say for me. And I was too. So when in London and with my colleague Paul, who is a cabinet maker, who knew Jared from school. And then when I arrived there, didn't see you for ages, blah, 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 talking. And Jared was with Aidan.
Ah, okay.
And introduced himself. Oh, I'm Aidan. I'm from Farnham. I was like, that's you.
You haven't emailed
didn't
me
reply.
back.
Like, yeah, I know. But, in a funny way, it wasn't a bad thing, but it was really funny. I was like, that was you who emailed me. So can we talk about that course? So, and yeah, since then I've been teaching, I don't know how many times. It's been 2 years. Probably teach 4 times a year. And it's just great. Like great people.
And is that like a week course, a weekend course, or
2 days course, sometimes
Right.
3 days, but because I'm full employed, it's a bit tricky to do longer. Although on the long term, I wish that I could like give one week course or even more. I mean, I trained 3 years for it, so
yeah, right. You can't just expect to impart all of that in like a weekend.
I mean, at least when I've got a student, they have the tools to start with.
Yeah.
And they know how, like, okay, that's for me, or it's not for me, never, ever again. And they can carry on learning. So, because when I teach, I don't use a laser, don't use a scroll saw. We use fret saw by hand, so the U-shaped one. And the reason behind it is if anyone wants to carry on marquetry after trying the course, it's quite easy to find and it's affordable. Whereas if you have the scroll saw, electric scroll saw, or a laser, you need, you want to make sure you want to commit to the costs.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And then from there, at Robinson House Studio as well.
Yes. Can't remember. I think Joe contacted me. I don't know if it was through email or I can't remember actually. Just received a message one day saying like, would you like to come and teach? Yeah, why not? And yeah, I did 2 days. I missed the first day.
You missed the first day. Did you forget?
No, we changed. It was just before Christmas holidays, and we changed the last day. Like we were supposed to do Thursday, Friday, and then we changed in between to Wednesday, Thursday. And I don't know. I was really busy. I was doing like going on the business trip with work and all these things, and turned up on the first day. And we're like, "Oh, we were waiting for you yesterday."
Oh no.
So. But it was fine. We still managed to do all the courses. They didn't hate me. I just felt like,
But you've been back since.
Yeah, so apparently
well,
it's fine.
Go, yeah.
But I always come the right day. Now, I make a point to make sure I check the dates before going.
Come a day early to make up for it.
That's me being like, woo. I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, it's really hard work when they're doing it. I'm challenging them, but really interested students, and I hope that they gonna carry on marquetry after. And to be fair, sometimes when I go back there, I walk around the benches and just like, that's the marquetry you did last time. It's still there. Didn't burn it. That's cool. I'm laughing about it because I'm aware that some people get really frustrated when they're doing it. But
I'm sure that would be me.
Maybe. But, after people keep it because I think they realize, I know that I tell them, like, I don't know, some people just, I can't do it. It's annoying me. And I get it. I used to get angry frustrated and not being able to make things. And when they say that, I'm useless, I was like, hang on, let's break. Like, let's have a break now. Did you know how to use a fret saw this morning? No. Did you know how to make a pack for the marquetry? No. Did you know all these veneers? No. Okay. You've been here one day and now look what you've done. You've cut your veneers, you've created a pack. Yeah, it's not perfect. Like, you broke some stuff, you broke some blades. but you've made something that you didn't know how to do in the morning. And then I highlight that I indeed trained for 3 years. And even still now, like I said, I'm still learning stuff. So I'm trying to, make them realize that it's just one day and that they shouldn't be harsh on themselves because it's a hard craft. So, like, most likely people, unless they're like talented like Jared, which is annoying, I think, it's normal to not succeed straight away. And I think now, sorry, I start my courses saying, you will break things. Don't worry about it. It's part of the process. Like, don't expect to have everything perfect straight away. And I think that put them at ease a little bit. I hope. I hope.
And what with working a full-time job and then teaching at 4 different schools, do you have any time to work on your own projects? Do you have your own studio at home?
Yes. I'm trying. I've bought a laser. I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work because obviously between what we have at work and what I got, it's not the same softwares and everything. But yeah, I'm trying to make some marquetries. I'm planning on making rude marquetries.
How very French.
Just like,
How very French.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, I think because I'm making during the week, I prefer teaching. And I think the teaching also is all about, I give a knowledge that people can take with them. So I think it brings me more satisfaction than just making something. And even if I sell it, maybe people won't realize all the work that is behind it. What's actually when they're making stuff during the course, they're just like, oh, hard. Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got a mini studio, really mini, just very small. It's cute. It's really cute. A lot of prints and everything, right?
I mean, it's nice to be able to have that. I've got, little garage at home where I go in and my tools are in there and stuff that kind of go in there and cut a little bit of wood here and there. And I mean, my tools are immaculate in there. Out of when I did the extension at my house, that was the first room that was finished.
Of course.
Immaculate, fantastic lighting. Now I go in there, I'm like, chop a bit of wood, do that. Set my bicycle up on the turbo trainer, just sitting there and pedal and listen to music. But I look at it, I'm like, because I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
When I get home, probably the last thing that I want to do, although at the moment I'm doing bits on the house and stuff, it's a bit different, but the last thing I want to do when I get home is make more stuff. It sounds really bad, doesn't it? Because I mean, it's what I'm passionate about, but I think, I could just spend some time with my family or go out on my bike or go for a run or go for a walk.
You can, you don't have to.
Yeah, I know. But I've set up the space and that's the main thing. So I can do anything I want in there. I can do anything because I've got all the tools to do everything, but it's just like...
At least you know. And if one day your cycling thing just breaks down...
I can fix it.
Well, or you can make some pieces there, you stop cycling and you make more pieces of furniture.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
I guess it's like you said, when you do a lot of like all week and most of the weekends, just, you need to also switch off your brain and just like, right, I've done enough with work for today. Gonna do things for me.
What I quite like doing though is like wait until everyone goes home at work and just when the last person leaves, I'll shut the door, turn the music up and just, because that workshop down there is set up, I've got everything that you'd ever want in there. And even just the bits of wood that we've got as offcuts are pretty nice. So just find little bits and make little things, just muck about, and what we were saying about earlier of just being able to grab something and make with it rather than following a plan. That's, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of things that I've just thrown in the skipper on the fire because it just hasn't worked out. But then there's every now and again I'll make something, I'm like, that's cool, it's really nice. It comes home with me and I'll give it to someone and it's a really nice thing to do. But then there's been times, certainly, maybe you feel the same, but there's sometimes when it's like, when it's tough, day to day at work, the last thing I want to do is go down to the workshop making, but I just want to get home,
Oh yeah.
completely forget about it. So it kind of, I find it goes like ebbs and flows, you know?
Well, I think it's still a job in the end of the day. So you also need that break from it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Don't beat yourself up
Yeah.
about it.
Oh,
It's
don't
fine.
worry. I'm quite content. Can you think of, like one or two projects that particularly stand out in your mind that you're particularly proud of, or that you remember for one reason or another?
In marquetry,
Mm.
I've got my degree piece that I made, which I can describe. um, do I describe it? Okay.
Shall I have a go? It's loads of little pieces of wood veneer stuck together. No, go on.
It's a jigsaw, a huge jigsaw. No, it was for my last year. I still have it. I mean, it's actually in Farnham at the moment, but we had a theme that was given to us at the end of the first year, and then you had to develop an idea and a piece of art, because it kind of piece of art in that case, that that answer. I don't know if you say that to that theme. So the one we had was the encounter. I was like, okay, how can I do that? And don't get me. So I was 21. I'm like, oh, we like to meet up for a drink, don't we? Mm. And that was my idea. I didn't present it like that when, I was doing my exam. So I created a piece that it looks like a spiral, which could be wood shaving. It's made of metal and there is a marquetry around it, which all sawn veneers, so thicker veneers, really good quality, pressed on that metal. And it's 3 or 4 different veneers. So there is boxwood, walnut, tamarisk, purple heart, olive ash. So 5. And it looks like, when you're sharing with your glasses, when you, I don't know how you say it, you have that kind of swirl. So the plan was making a marquetry that looks festive to commemorate that moment when you meet up with your friends and you talk about it. So it's a structural piece that you can have as a decorative thing, or you can put it in the middle of the table and people gather around and chat about it. And I created glasses. So I did wood-turned marquetry. I don't know if that works that way. So the same marquetry that I had on the ribbon that I did on that spiral, cut it in several times, then cut in squares, pile them up, pressed everything, put it on the lathe, and created 4 glasses with it.
Wow.
And the encounter was, you have that first idea of gathering with your friends, family, and everything. And then there was technique, because I did blacksmithing, marquetry, wood turning, and material, because obviously there is metal and wood. So it was like the all encounter. That was a long description, sorry. But
So talk to me about the wine glasses again. It's like a wine glass size glass, like a normal
cognac.
Cognac. Oh, so a small one.
The small one where you don't have a leg, because it rotates. And in stormy ones, so the one you have in boats, they never fall.
Like a tumbler, almost.
I don't know what a tumbler is.
It's a heavy glass, but maybe a tumbler's a bigger glass. But so, just talk me through this. You made the same pattern in the block. How thick was the block? Like a little sawn veneers, and you just gluing them up.
Yeah.
So it's the same pattern glued on top of each other.
Yes.
And then you turned that into the lathe.
And the interest was, we didn't know how he would look like, or if it would work.
Yeah, right.
Like, might just explode.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I thought, how would that even be possible? That's incredible.
I wouldn't drink from them.
No.
I'm too precious about it. But yeah, the pattern we had is actually quite interesting. And I don't know. I think, yeah, it's probably proudest I am. And even it's been 15 years, I'm still happy to have it.
This is what I mean about how do you find time to do your own stuff, because you've done something there that isn't for anybody else apart from, to show that you can pass your test, but you've put all this work into creating something really, really beautiful, and it's one of the pieces that's stuck with you forever mentally. Now with the rigmarole of work and teaching, maybe there's a place to bring back that intense focus on something for a little while to start creating it on your own.
I think I'd do that, but I like to offer gifts to people. So a bit like you when you said you making stuff and then you go home and you have a lot of bits that you've been creating, you're trying everything. I do that for my friends. Sorry, guys, or your Christmas gifts or trials of marquetry. But I do that. That's the motivation I have. Making a marquetry that it's personalized to the person I will offer it to. So
I still can't. That's a huge amount of work. How many glasses were there? I just can't get over this. Say a glass is, I don't know, 10 centimeters tall.
So it was sawn veneers, so they were not 0.6, they were like 1 mil.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 100 layers.
Is it?
Yeah. 1 mil to get to 10 centimeters, 100 layers. Oh, you cutting as a pack? No.
I squeezed everything. I've got pictures somewhere, and I put a solid block of walnut for the base, which reduced already from 10 mil. So it's only 9 layers.
Yeah, exactly. Only 90
Not
cuts
90,
now.
sorry.
Yeah. So per glass as well.
I think so. I'll count when I get home. I'm just like, what is it?
So when you cut that, knowing that the pattern's the same, are you cutting it as a block?
Yeah.
So you'll squeeze down and you'll cut 90 mil in all the different layers or whatever, you'll cut that out.
So it was actually, because it was a full ribbon, I just make one marquetry, which was really long, and I chopped it in small squares, and then I piled it up. So it wasn't exactly the same. That's why it was interested, because we wouldn't know how it would look like.
Oh, because it might be off.
Yeah, and also I rotated them as I was gluing them, just to make it a bit more complicated.
Oh, wow, I'd love to see that.
Maybe. I'll show a picture.
That sounds really cool. I tried one year to do Christmas cards, because I thought, I would be super creative. I've got loads of time. And I tried to do a Christmas card, like a postcard, really basic, white ash, a line down the middle, a couple of lines here, and then like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And then the idea was that I would create them. I actually did the other way, create them in a bigger block, and then to slice off like slices and give people these cards that were like 2 mil, 3 mil thick or whatever. And I glued it all together, and I was really happy with it. It was like, this is great. I've got the edging, got the middle, perfect. The top one, fantastic. Did the cut. Next one down, there's gaps everywhere. By the time I got to the third one, it had just fallen apart. Because it was so fine. The tolerance was so fine. And I mean, it was my first attempt, but the tolerance was so fine that stuff didn't fit together when you started cutting in from, I guess the saw might have been at an angle, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I take my hat off to you. That's quite a feat, being that level of accuracy I mean, you do it every day now, but even at like 21, to get that level of accuracy repetitively, that's pretty good going.
You just practice.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect. Got a friend who didn't stop saying that to me. Annoys me. But it's true.
So what is the thing that gets you into work every day and gets you into teaching every day? What's the thing about marquetry that you love more than anything?
Well, before I used to love cutting, which I know it's weird. Now the laser does it for me. But what I love is when you assemble your pattern and you don't know if what you had in mind will look like that. So, you plan something, it's going to look like that, and then that tension you have when you start peeling off the protective tape, and just like, looks crap. Or, oh my gosh, that's even better than what I imagined, and that's great. I think that's one of my favorite moments, because you just don't know.
Mm.
You can have an idea and you get used to it, like you know how veneer is going to behave and how they're going to match together, but you still have that thing at the end being like, is it going to be okay? Is it going to look good? And when it looks good, you're just like, yes, I've done a good job. But I also love like flicking through different veneers, trying to find the perfect defect in the wood to make sure like, oh, I want to make a bush there for that landscape. I'm going to go where there are knots everywhere and it's totally crazy. And I'm going to use that and I'm going to make a template, check if it works. And when you put all this effort and then you see that it actually comes together really well, it's just really satisfying. So yeah, thing.
And when you're creating say if you created a landscape that was, I don't know, A4 paper size, of what for you would be a moderate level of detail, how long would something like that take you to do?
From what part to what part? Like what?
So say you've got say it's the design, someone's given you a drawing or a photograph or whatever, however you're receiving your designs, to then go and find the veneer, cut it, glue it, finish it.
I think so. If I were to do on my own time, so without a laser, I would have to do the tracing, which is tracing paper, do the finest line possible, making copies, figuring out what colors, because you have to figure out the colors before you choose the veneers to have a rough idea. Grain direction, that would probably take, I don't know, 4 hours. And then choosing the veneers, make sure it's flat. So depending, like it's kind of just a rough idea because you have so many things you have to take in account. But yeah, flattening the veneers and then choosing each grain you want. That's probably another half day. That can take ages. And then the cutting, I don't know, probably would spend 2 days cutting. I'm getting older, so it might be more difficult, more breaks for, my back hurts. But also quicker because I've got the technique. I don't know, 2 days. And then pressing, depending on how I press, I would say like a week. I don't know. I haven't, yeah.
So just to illustrate how labor intensive something like that is, it's incredibly labor intensive, but one of the most satisfying things, I'm sure, when you look at and you can see that you've created a landscape almost in thin pieces of wood of completely different tone and texture. And what I really love about Marquetry and parquetry is that you've got a texture, you've got a whole load of different textures. You've got a shared materiality in that they're all wood products. But when you look at the difference between 2 or 3 or even a dozen veneers on a piece of paper, each one is completely different.
Yeah.
But they have that common tonality of wood. One might be white, one might be black. You might have a dyed one and you might have some crazy like Zebrano grain or something like that. And your brain registers that it's all wood because we're used to looking at wood and showing grain, but you've got complete contrast, complementing colors, complementing shapes, all in one kind of small area. I think that's incredible. And it's a real skill,
And I think also what is great, I think what is amazing about marquetry is how much details you can get through these different textures or veneers. Like one of my favorite veneers is tulip wood because it's green, naturally green, but you can have purple, you can have blue, black, and all in the same piece. And I think it's crazy. And that would be a landscape and just like, job done. But it's also like working through that. You have the texture, but also the tones. So something that I struggle to understand. I know it's really silly, but I went to the hairdresser once and I asked to have like, this balayage. And the lady was asking me like, what undertone are you? And I was like, I have no idea. Is it more blue or is it more red or this kind of thing? And then I realized, okay, hang on. veneers. So we have some veneers that are more grey, and we have more veneers that are more gold colours. So I use that as a reference because some people, like me, I don't understand when we're talking about that for the everyday life. I've got some people that will come and be like, I like these two veneers together. What do you think? And I'm just like, no, because this one is kind of purplish. This other one has that green tones in it and it doesn't match together. So even they might look the same type of veneers, same type of colors, you have all the tones in it that make lots of difference. And this is what I like when you have to flick through all the veneers. You have to layer them all next to each other and try to think how it's going to look like and make sure that it's harmonious. But it's hard to explain when you don't know. This is why I did the analogy with the hair. For some people, it's obvious. For other people, like if you don't train it, you're just like, I don't know. It's brown. No, it's not brown. It's a purple brown. And that's orange brown, really precise.
But you have to be when you're working with tiny pieces.
Yeah.
Teeny tiny pieces. If one of those pieces is wrong, the whole thing's wrong, right?
It can be, yeah.
I think you've got to be precise in what you want.
I think you need to not be scared of redoing a piece of not the full piece, one piece of the marquetry. I know some people are just like, and me the first, being like, oh, I need to change that now. But when you see the results, you're just like, okay, I'm glad I changed that part. Because it, like you said, it can make a huge difference.
And I think of marquetry from a cabinetry perspective, adorning a door, it's a flat panel, but you will generally, a lot of your stuff is working on a curve. What sort of complexity does that add? I mean, I know working in joinery, generally, as a rule of thumb, we'll say if something's got a curve in it, then we charge them 3 times as much because it'll take 3 times as long.
Yeah.
But is that the same when it comes to marquetry?
Yeah, you have to think. You have to come with new ideas to make sure that it doesn't break. I mean, I know that when I did my degree piece, which was a spiral, I had to figure out how to press the sawn veneer, which is thicker than a normal veneer, sorry. And I was like, how do I do that? And so I used fabric for the backing. So that meant I pressed them together and I could wet the part. So the veneer would become more flexible, but not the pieces like going everywhere.
So you've already backed it onto fabric as the entire pattern?
Yes.
And then
put it in shape, let it dry for, I think it was 2 days with like some pegs. And yeah, just hoping that nothing will pop out. But yeah, I think you have to think outside of the box. Like you have to think, okay, what material can I use to make it more solid? And then as soon as you find a solution, like the fabric stuff, for example, probably something I would reuse. I would probably like dig in a bit more into it. But yeah, I think you need to adapt to that anyway, because I think it's more likely we're going to get more weird shapes in the future, or cabinet making or marquetry. So you have to adapt and think, what can I do?
How can you adapt to the new forms that are being created?
Yeah.
Maybe make it flexible to touch. Maybe.
Some people do that already.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought I'd come up with something new then.
No, sorry. There's a company in France where they making kind of flexible veneer.
Really?
ACCA, ACCA, I think from the top of my head. Yeah. They found a way and they actually mixed it with marquetry with my former tutor, Pierre. They created a panel where you have a marquetry where it's flexible, so you can inflate kind of something behind.
Wow.
And just like...
And press it and touch it so it's tactile as well.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
There's so many things we can do in marquetry. That's just amazing.
Yeah. I think it's an incredible skill, and I'm in awe of your skill and talent. One thing I ask everybody on the podcast is, if you could go back to give a piece of advice to 18-year-old Audrey, what would that advice be?
Don't be an idiot. Stop shouting at everything. Stop being angry. No? I probably would say that. Just having not to push things, like, being in a rush for things to happen. Because let's be honest, when I was doing my training, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. And actually now I teach, I've got, I earn money, which literally I thought when I was studying, like, I would never be able to pay my flat just through what I'm doing, because it's such a niche job. But I think I've been, being perseverant and just not rush things, because there is no point, actually. Probably that would avoided me some frustration at the time. Yeah.
That's quite an interesting concept to tell somebody that does marquetry not to rush, because it seems like the craft where you need the most amount of patience, the woodcraft anyway, you need the most amount of patience. Good advice, I suppose.
But you don't know when when you start, when you're 18 and you start your journey in cabinet making, literally have no idea like how long things going to take. And it can be not just a marquetry process, it can be just me being unemployed for a while before I could finally find a job where I'm fully employed in the UK, because at some point you feel a bit depressed. You're just like, I've done all these years to learn that skill, but actually I'm not working for it, I'm not doing things with it. So it's a bit frustrating, but realizing that, well, if you keep doing what you like, but not rushing it and not being like annoyed straight away, like, oh, it's not working, I'm going to give up, that leads you to more things. But need not to give up, that's all.
Well, good advice. And Audrey, where can people either see your marquetry, find out more about you, or when's your next courses? When are your courses throughout the year? If someone wanted to go and do marquetry, when can they come and be taught by the master?
That's actually a good point about the master, because been recognized master marquetry.
Oh wow, yeah. Congratulations.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Master of Marquetry.
Yeah, from the furniture maker company.
Fantastic, congratulations.
Thanks. So, well, I've got Instagram. I'm following my generation, which is just Audrey Fasquelle. And the next course, there is one course in Chichester, 10th of January, with my friend Faye, who does pottery. So she has a studio that she shares with artists. So there will be a course there. And there will be a course in Farnham, beginning of February, on the top of my head. And there are more coming. Still waiting for some answer. I need to contact people, but I'm also doing one-to-one tuition. So I'm going in April to teach someone in Wales, for example. So it would be one-to-one, bring in my stuff and be like, do that, do that, do that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So if somebody really wants an intensive course, they get in contact with you and you can come boss them around for a couple of days.
Yes. If they're happy to do that during the weekend, obviously.
Even better.
It's just because I can't during the week. But yeah, I just love teaching. So people, please, just come and learn marquetry. It's great.
Well, literally learning from a master. So yeah. I think if you're going to learn from anybody, go and learn from a master, right?
Yeah.
Please get in touch if you're interested in learning marquetry. Drop you a message on Instagram. Is that the way to go?
Yeah, I think Instagram is probably the best way.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm really going to be thinking about making those glasses probably for the next 2 or 3 days, working out how you've done it. But
okay, I'm going to put a pattern in. Yeah. Patterns. And
please do. It's locked in now. I just can't stop thinking about how you've done that.
It's easy.
Maybe if you're a master. Audrey, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
yeah, go check Audrey out, and good luck with the courses and everything else. And hopefully I'll pass across again.
Yes, I hope so. Cool.
Cheers.
Thanks.